Okay, Brian, we're ready. We're ready to go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear somebody.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead, Kathy.
All right.
Go ahead, yeah.
Like to call the December 2nd meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
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 the
of the United
States of America,
of
America and to the republic
for
for
which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice
for all.
for all.
Talk about synchronization. All right, can we have a roll call vote? Andrea, you doing a roll call vote?
Hello,
Hello, roll call,
Reagan, Hill,
present?
Radowski,
Present,
Brock, Hutton.
Present.
We have 3 present. We do have a quorum.
All right, Andrea and Brian, how do you want to handle the minutes? Just table the ones that we don't have as one group, and do you want individual motions for the other ones or a group motion for the other 3?
Well, actually, can we hold on for a second? There was 4 for a quorum, correct? Not 3?
3 for a quorum. There's a board member of 5 members.
Right. Dennis, Kathy, Nancy.
No,
Bill?
Nancy's not here.
Oh, she's not?
I didn't get a response.
No, she's right here.
Yeah, I think under the Galaxy phone, the
Yeah,
Samsung
Yeah,
Galaxy.
she's there, but she's muted.
Is that her on the phone?
The phone
Okay, can
keeps
you hear me
popping
now?
up.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so we have 4. Okay,
What?
Ms. Hill, going back to your question about the minutes, if you want to call for the approval of December,
6?
yeah, I'm sorry, I set them aside. December 6th,
No,
April-
is it April 25th or the 24th?
okay, well, that, I'm going to address that.
Okay,
If you call for an approval of December 6th, 2017 and April 28th, 2021, and then we can address the other matters. So call for approval of those 2 first.
okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
so moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
Okay, and then if we're going to call for approval of the April 25th, 2018 meeting with the minutes, the document being corrected with the correct date,
Which is the 25th, correct?
25th of
Correct.
2018, yes.
Okay. All right, do we get such a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, then we have a motion to table the minutes for May 25th, 2016, June 29th, 2016, March 29th, 2017, May 24th, 2017, July 26th, 2017, February 25th, 2020, and August 25th, 2020.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed. Any new old business, Brian?
No old business.
Okay, so we'll move to new business. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right, we have Z-20-08 petition of Charles Parker Jr. and Tenequa. Hopefully I pronounced it okay. Chapman Parker for conditional use regarding title section 9.11 parens 18. Conditional use for any use similar to number 1 through 16 by way of Title 9C-3 Central Business District, Section 9.11, parens 13, radio and television studios, facilities, and related equipment to allow a music recording company in a C3 Central Business District located at 5254 through 5258 Holman Avenue in the city of Hammond. Have all notification requirements been made?
Notification requirements have been met.
Okay. I believe we had somebody for this.
Yes,
All right,
my name is Charles Parker Jr.
all right. Would you, well, you can't sign in. Would you like to tell us where you live?
I live in the city of Gary, Indiana.
All right,
50
go ahead.
2249 Ellsworth Place.
5249.
2249, I'm sorry,
Thank you.
Ellsworth Place.
Thank you.
All right, would you like to give any information in regarding to the petition?
Yes, we're starting a studio company for artists to where they can record music. Also, we have a little area where they can have listening parties where they can perform their music that they record, and have small events where they can sing along with a live band to perform their artistry and music that they record.
All right, anything else?
There also will be private events for like small music events, just only for private people only. It's not open to the public. So everything will be private.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Just, if you would state for the record that you are a tenant in a multi-unit building and that well, basically you provided us information that your landlord is allowing you to make this petition, correct?
Yes. Correct.
Okay. And then can you describe the hours of operation?
Yes, our operations will be from 5 to 11 p.m., 5 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay, your letter says 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh, I'm sorry, 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Looking at it right here.
Mr. Parker, can you briefly describe your sound control measures that we've just discussed with Tom?
Yes, we have acoustic foam on the walls in the studio booth area. We also have it in the event space area where it controls the sound from like having like music played. It won't be heard in the tenant next to us or the tenant above.
May I also add there's a stairwell separating you from the other first floor tenant, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that should add further sound barrier, and there should also be fireproofing between the upstairs unit and their unit. So that also provides it. Also, most of the events will be happening, after
After
4 or 5 p.m. and the other
Yes.
place is closed, right? Okay.
Yes.
also like to stress the live streaming nature. You'll be live streaming these events too, right? It's kind of a way of,
Yes,
yeah.
we be doing live streaming due to COVID regulations. So events, we'll have probably like an artist and we'll just live stream their event to their artists and to their audience, stuff like
Hmm.
All right. Do board members have any questions?
I do, Madam President.
Okay, Mr. Hutton?
Thank you. The question I have is there are many different levels of sound control.
that.
And we're recognizing that acoustical requirement. Do you know what the STC rating, sound transmission coefficient, or the noise reduction coefficient might be with this installation that you intend to put on there? And if you can't answer that question, I understand.
I'm not sure.
Okay. I'm just suggesting that you meet the requirements of the building codes, not only locally, but on the state level as well. That's all.
Okay.
Please. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Parker, this is Evelyn Hill. Are you aware of the difference between what you're requesting and relationship to former studio as far as 621, the family workshop?
No, I don't know who they were before we moved here. No relationship with them at
Okay.
all.
Mr. Poland, are you aware of any noise problems with that studio or anything?
I'm not aware of anything. Tom, can you answer that?
No, we didn't have any police calls or anything like that when I looked it up. So I have not heard of any, complaints. I do know the Aquavore nightclub was next door too. So, they didn't, I'm sure there won't be any complaints from this. I hope. We haven't had any that I, when I checked with code and go check with the police calls.
Any other questions from board members? All right, hearing none, we will ask for public comments, open up for public comments. Is there anybody on our meeting that would like to speak for or against this petition? And how would they indicate if they would like to, Mr. Poland? If they're all muted.
Well, they should raise their hand.
Okay, let's give them that information then, okay? If you'd like to speak for or against, raise your hand. I do not see anyone. Right,
You could even click reactions. If you can't find it, click reactions and, give us one of the emojis.
okay.
You can't find the raise hand button, but
Okay, I don't see anyone, so I think we can close this period of public comments. What does that mean? Okay.
that was someone's phone going off. I'm not
Okay,
sure. who.
all right. Okay.
Kathy,
Yes,
I see a thumbs up. Well, it disappeared. I saw a thumbs up on somebody. So go ahead.
which means what? They're gonna speak or nothing?
Just pointing it out.
All right, keep an eye on the screen too, Mr. Poland.
I've changed it so that they can unmute themselves. So if anyone wants to speak, pull down the space bar or click unmute in the bottom left corner.
Okay. All right. Hearing nothing, seeing nothing, then we will close this period of public comments. Right. Petition, Mr. Parker, anything else you'd like to add to your presentation?
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay. Do any board members have any other additional questions?
No.
Right, we do have a staff report for this as far as what is the pleasure of the board in regard to the staff report? Would they like to accept it into the records and just have the staff read their recommendations? Or what?
So moved
So move what?
to accept the staff report.
Into the record and just the recommendations being read?
Yep,
Okay, do we have you want to state your name so Andrea can get the first right person just in case?
Nancy,
Okay, and do we have a second to that motion?
Second,
Name,
Hutton.
okay? We have a motion and a second. Did we have a roll call vote?
Hudson,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Reagan,
yes.
Hill.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Mr. Novak?
Did you want me to read the recommendation for the staff report?
That's what was voted on, just read
Okay.
the recommendation.
Okay, staff has reviewed the petitioner's proposal and recommends that the board grant the conditional use should the board feel that the petitioner has met the standards. Now, this recommendation is subject to the petitioners, 1, ceasing all business operations and ceasing the playing of music no later than by 11 p.m. every night. 2, never offering or selling any alcoholic beverages on site and never preparing any food on site. 3, following all fire safety regulations, which includes, but is not limited to, never allowing 40 or more people to occupy the unit at the same time, and replacing all exit doors of unit with doors which open outwards towards the exterior. And 4, taking appropriate sound control measures so that sound does not carry off the property and does not interfere with the other units or tenants of the building.
All right. Any questions as far as the staff report? Okay, we have some proposed findings of fact. Do the members have any additions or amendments to the findings of fact prepared by the staff? I don't hear or see anything. Do you, Mr. Poland or Mr. Novak?
I do not see anything.
Okay, do we have a motion to adopt the findings of fact as presented?
So moved, Madam President.
That was Mr. Hudden.
Yes.
I'll second it.
That was you, Nancy, with the second?
Yeah, this Nancy's second.
Okay. And we need a roll call vote for this?
Radowski,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes,
Hill.
Yeah.
4-0, that motion passes.
Okay, and we need a motion in regard to the conditional use for Z-20-08 for the music recording studio. What's the pleasure of the board? There a motion to approve the conditional use?
Madam President, I
Yeah.
so approve, I so move.
Mr. Hudden, so move, approve, that's the motion. There a second?
I'll second it. Nancy,
Roll call vote?
Radowski,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Reagan,
yes.
Hill.
Yes.
4-0, the motion passes.
All right, Mr. Parker, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then we will move to Z-20-09 petition of O'Reilly Automotive Store, Inc. for developmental variance regarding title section 21.23 parens B, parens 1, to allow a wall sign greater than 54 square feet in a C2 shopping center commercial district located at 3540 169th Street in the city of Hammond. I'm at school, so I am going to step out for a second. The cleaning people just walked in to let them know I'm still here, okay? Can we have all notification requirements been met?
Notification requirements have been met.
Okay, do we have a petitioner that'd like to come before us?
Hi, my name is Roy Zuniga. I'm the district manager for O'Reilly Auto Parts. I currently oversee the both Hammond locations right now, currently in Hammond. So I will also be taking over this store too as district manager for the new property also.
Okay, and
And
state where you live?
I live at 340 Gulfview Drive in Sherville, Indiana.
Okay,
And Roy, could I please get your last name?
Z as in zebra, U-N-I-G-A.
Thank you.
Mhm.
okay, I'm back. Sorry. Would you like to tell us about your petition?
We're currently looking to put a bigger sign that goes beyond current zoning on the front side of the building, which is pretty much the same size we have at our store on 160, the one at Hammond 169th Street.
Mr. Zuniga or anybody from the sign company, if you could really expand upon that. Just for the board's benefit and to move this along, the petition, the zoning regulations limit the signage to 54 square feet with a maximum 100 square feet per business unit. They are proposing a sign, and then Tom, what's the 99.87 square feet?
It's 99.87 square feet. That'll be
Okay,
24 feet and 24 and a half feet horizontally and 4 feet tall.
okay, so this one sign they're asking for is their 100 square feet allowed per business unit. They do have other signs on the property that we have determined meets there's a third category of signage that is allowed in a C2 shopping center district, and those two signs fall into that category. The sign company assisted us in preparing documentation of all the signage on the C2 district, in which we determined that there were a couple of other examples of signs greater than 54 square feet. We also made sure that the third category of signage in the shopping center district, that there was that collectively in the C2 district, that number was not exceeded. So therefore, the simple request is to have this one individual sign be allowed to be greater than 54 square feet, the normal 54 square foot cap.
Correct.
Yes, and this will be the main sign hanging over the front entrance. So
So the minimum requirement is 54 square feet, but
No, not
maximum
maximum per sign.
per
Right.
sign, yeah.
You're
And
allowed,
this-
you're allowed 100 total per business unit,
I
one or
understand.
more
now.
signs, max of one is 54.
Understand now. Thank you.
Okay.
So this will be how much larger than the regular, the required, or the,
About 44 square feet, 45 square feet more than what's allowed.
Not quite twice as large.
And not quite twice. And they have provided examples of other businesses in Briar East which host signs bigger
Yeah,
than,
the Family Dollar sign is 160, almost 162 square feet. The Golo is about the same size in square footage that we're looking for. And then also Sharks and Excel Center are also bigger than the 54 square feet.
So they're basically comparable to what is already there.
Correct.
yeah, and so you can picture it, this will be going in the lot, it'll be along 169th, right next door to the Golo. So it'll be the second parcel from Grand Avenue on 169th. And might I mention, the building is under construction now. It started in the summer.
I'm looking for where he is. Mr. Zaninga, do you have any other comment you'd like to make?
Just that, like I said, it's comparable to like other businesses already in Briar, and it's almost the exact same size as the one at the store we have on 165th Street also. And it is in the front of the building, right over the entrance, the main entrance of the store.
All right, board members have any other questions?
No.
So we'll move into, open the public comment period. Anyone in the public have any pro, negative, positive comments they'd like to make?
And again, if you want to unmute, hold down your space bar or in the bottom left corner, press the unmute button.
And say something. All right. Looks like we can close this period of public comments. Right? I don't think we have a need to answer any of the questions. And we'll move right back into as far as board members. Have you decided, do you have any other questions? We have a staff report for Z-2009. What's the pleasure of the board as far as if you would like the staff to read the staff report and just to accept the staff report into the record with the staff reading their recommendations. Shall I say that again? Do we have a motion to accept the staff report into the record and have the staff read their recommendations in regard to Z-20-09? Do we have such a motion?
Approve the staff report into the records.
And you would like the staff to read their recommendations?
No, just put it in the record.
Okay, you don't want the staff recommendations read then?
Oh, yeah, I want those read. I'm sorry.
All right. We have that motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And all
Dennis.
we need is a voice vote for this, Mr. Poland?
That is sufficient, yes.
Yes?
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. You're
Make
on.
roll call.
Everything's got to be a roll call.
No, it's not. Okay, so can we have a roll call vote?
Sure. Radowski,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Okay. Per the staff report in case Z-2009, developmental variance, staff recommends, staff has reviewed the petitioner's request and recommends that the BZA grant the developmental variance should the board feel the petitioner has met the 3 standards.
All right. We also have some proposed findings of fact. Do the members have any additions or amendments to the findings of fact prepared by the staff? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adopt the findings of fact as presented?
So moved.
That was who?
Dennis.
Dennis, do we have a second?
I'll second that, Nancy.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Could we have a roll call vote?
Hudson,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes,
Hill,
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Okay, do we have a motion in regard to the developmental variance for Z-20-09? Do we have a motion to approve, deny? What's the pleasure?
make a motion to approve. Z 20-9.
Do we have a second? That was Nancy.
Yes.
Yes,
Do we have a second?
So moved.
Mr. Hutton,
Yes.
okay, roll call vote?
Radowski,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Reagan,
yes.
Hill,
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Okay, good luck. We have 18.
Thank you.
You're welcome. 18th Street Distillery. Is it all right if I read all of them together at one time and take each of them separate, or what the pleasure of the staff?
I request that you read them separately and treat them separately.
Okay. First one is Z-20-10, petition of 18th Street Distillery LLC for conditional use regarding title section 9.11, parens 14, to allow a residential unit on the first floor in a C3 Central Business District located at 474 Fayette Street in the city of Hammond. Has all notification requirements been met?
Notification requirements have been met.
Okay, do we have anybody to speak for this?
Yes,
And who is it?
my name is Drew Fox. I am the founder and owner of 18th Street Brewery, 18th Street Distillery, and Sour Note Brewing Company here in Hammond, Indiana.
Right. Would you like to
The-
talk about your petition?
Yes, we acquired parcels address 474, 478, 496 about 3 months ago. And our petition is, and the hopes is from the board members, is we were looking for conditional approval for 2 residential units in the current facility of 474 Fayette. One being an efficiency unit, the smaller of the units. The second being a 2-bedroom unit at 474. You know, what we've seen over the last 6 years is what we call a staycation or a beer vacation, meaning you have a lot of folks who are traveling from other parts of the country and either other parts of the world, enjoying libations from a brewery or distillery in our local region, meaning Northwest Indiana or the Chicagoland area, and looking for potential places to stay. As we've seen over the last 10 years, Airbnb has been a big movement, and there's great potential in the city of Hammond, which already exists. And we hope to capitalize on some urban housing in downtown, the city of downtown Hammond.
Mr. Fox,
Yes.
can you address the residential units? At least there's on your site plan, you were showing some type of fencing.
Yes, the entire property, with the exception of the triangle parcel, and that'll be, if I'm correct, I'm pulling up the correct parcel number here. With the exception of parcel number ending in 023, the parcels have included fencing on between the north and south sides of both of those parcel units. There will be additional fencing in parcel 1, which is also on the north-south facing side of the building as well. The 2-bedroom units are already fenced in, and the second the first parcel, which would be the smaller efficiency parcel, and will also be fenced in as well.
Okay, and, okay, Tom, I know you're showing your screen, but
I'm looking for a triangle.
the triangle goes to the right.
Number 5, is that considered the triangle? No.
No, the property, you mean the property, the triangle of the property?
Yes,
Yeah, it goes to the right of the image.
okay.
The property itself basically runs, the building structure itself runs from the north to the south. The first unit, which would be the efficiency unit, which is a smaller unit, is really on the, if we would want to say the east-west of the building. And the larger unit basically runs alongside the north-south of the building, which is fenced in. And I believe you're in reference to whether we're going to fence in the smaller parcel, the smaller efficiency unit, and that is correct. That unit will be fenced in as well.
Well, what I'm trying to get at is the discussion is that the unit that's on the north side of the building does encroach in the public right of way. The structure itself, is encroaching in the public right of way. And you're then proposing to put a fence that would follow in alignment with that north wall, and therefore the proposed fence would also encroach in the public right of way. So that's an issue that would have to be addressed as a right of encroachment from the Board of Public Works and Safety, should the board agree to the residential units.
I'd like to make a correction there that the fencing line would not encroach on the public walkway. If you look at the aerial photo, the building, our building's leading edge is right against the encroaching walkway. You are correct, but the fence line would go towards which would be about a foot off of that encroaching walkway onto our property, which would secure the fence line, which would not encroach on the public walkway.
Okay. Tom, can you show those images again?
Yep. So here's the site plan. And then let me take you to,
Show the GIS image.
yeah. So here's the GIS. Here's 474, 478, and 496. So
Right, okay, so
What we're talking about.
the yellow line that is on the north side is the public right of way. You can see that a portion of the building extends into the public right of way. So Tom, and then switch to the other drawing.
okay.
Just right here. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, so this is on the bottom of the screen, the image there. That fence that's shown there around unit 1 is in alignment with the wall that we already know that is encroaching in the public right of way. So since you're following that alignment, that fence is also in the public right of way.
Tom, can you rotate that 180 degrees to get it? Site plan?
It's a PDF. I mean, if you give me a second, I can. Give me a moment. I can save it as
I can clearly understand that it might be a little more challenging for.
I get you. Let me save it as a JPEG file.
And,
Should be popping up in a second.
and I agree with Brian on that encroachment. Can I ask another question now, Brian, or do you still want to talk about this?
No, go ahead.
The other question I have is, can you tell me the occupancy of the bar area and the lounge?
Mr. Hutton, that is the next case.
My apologies.
So, I mean, all I'm saying is that we have an existing encroachment, and then the fence would add to that encroachment. That is should the board agree to the residential units, it's just a matter of getting authorization from the Board of Public Works.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
If they
Well,
if they turn the unit around and had unit 1 facing the building and then the patio there, would that avoid any of that problem? If that was necessary, if the
I-
board didn't agree.
I didn't follow that.
Okay, you take unit 1 and you switch it where you have it facing, butting up, the wall is switched. You're basically turning the unit where unit 1 is by the packaging area.
Well, I guess,
Then you have the patio looking on Fayette Street.
okay, well, unit 1 is reflective of an existing building. And
Okay,
it's not an addition, it's existing wall structure, so they are not proposing to reconfigure that or move it. They're going to use the wall as it currently exists. So there,
okay,
so you can't change it.
basically, unit 1 is already encroaching.
Yes,
yes.
Well, I
And
think the
why
simple
was
solution is
the
to take the patio and
Was this addressed prior to this, that it was already encroaching, and do they have a right to encroach on that? Have they gotten permission to do that?
this building dates back to the early 20th century where probably those regulations were not in place. But now that we are addressing this as allowing this building to be occupied in another manner, we have to address the current regulations and resolve these issues that are encroachments.
Brian, wouldn't it be simple just to take that fenced in area and drop it back another 7 or 10 feet to the south?
That would be for the petitioner to decide upon.
My apologies.
Yes. That or, we can help you with contacting the Board of Public Works about a right-of-way encroachment allowance.
Or with any approval we might do tonight, would they still be able to make some adjustments without coming back to the BZA, or would they have to come back to the planning or BZA?
I would prefer that we would meet with the Public Port of Works to see if we can work something out with them.
Well,
Yeah.
the question before the board is whether or not there can be residential units in this district. Any of the, and the staff's recommendation includes being subject to the resolution of the right of encroachment. If there are any other technical details as far as moving the fence and things like that, that is typically a staff matter when it comes to the permit stage. And should those trigger another BZA issue, then we will bring it back, but I don't think that is likely.
So you're just bringing it to the attention, so all this information is in the record, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Fox, do you have any other comments you'd like to make?
No, we do not. We would follow the board's recommendation.
All right,
Madam Chairperson,
yes,
may I get Mr. Fox to tell us his address?
Yes, my address is at 2106 East 73rd, Chicago, Illinois, 60649.
Thank you.
do board members have any other questions? All I can say is I learned a new term. I had never heard of adjudication, but it's interesting. Okay. Then we will open up for public comments. Anyone in the public like to make comments? For decision? We have background noise.
Somebody,
Robert's iPad, did you have something?
I just muted everybody so that we can figure out who's causing the feedback. So Kathleen, go ahead and unmute. And one by one, we'll figure out who the feedback is. It's the bottom left corner, Kathleen.
Oh, I went to the top.
There we go. Okay.
My computer's a little weird, okay? We want to take one noisemaker at a time, or we just?
Well, the board members should unmute themselves for the vote, of course, and Andrea.
Right, so we basically are, as far as public comments, though, was there anyone in the public that like to speak for or against Z 2010?
Unmute now, if so. Hold down the space bar or bottom left corner of your screen.
I do not see anyone. Do you? Mr. Novak, I don't see anyone.
No, I don't see anyone.
So then we can close this period of public comments and move to as far as any other questions from the board members. Okay, we do have a staff report for Z 2010, and I probably would expect that the board would like to accept the staff report into the record and have the staff read their recommendations. Do I have such a motion, or tell me if I'm wrong? That's not your pleasure.
Also move.
That was
Dennis.
Dennis and who?
I'll second it.
Good. Dennis and Nancy. All right, and could we have a roll call vote?
Hudson,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Okay, per the staff report in case Z 2010, petitioner 18th Street Distillery. Staff has reviewed the petitioner's proposal and recommends that the board grant the conditional use should the board feel that the petitioner has met the following standards, well, the standards, the 9 standards. Subject to the petitioner, 1, resolution of the apparent encroachment into the Fayette Street right-of-way by the existing building, subject to a right of encroachment approval by the City of Hammond's Board of Public Works and Safety. 2, following all applicable state regulations regarding lodging. 3, hiring licensed contractors and those licensed contractors pulling the relevant building permits to begin work no later by the end of calendar year 2022.
Hey, Madam President, or Madam Chairperson, excuse me.
Yes, would you like to explain why this is extended?
That is the reason for my interjection.
Okay.
And whether it's Drew or Tom, if you could clarify the timing of this, there was some information in the written documents about the timing of when the first unit would be constructed and when the second would be constructed. Could you address those issues again?
Well, and Drew could jump in whenever you want, but from what I understand, they wanted to get one of the residential units going in 2021, but the main focus was going to be what we're going to talk about in the next case in 2021. And the second unit may not have been done until 2022. This is a 2, 3, 4-year project, the whole thing. So I thought because of the 6-month conditional use set out in Title 24 of zoning ordinance, that we would give them some leeway because they may not start on both residential units until 2022. The hope is one of them is done next year, but COVID and everything, I thought we'd address the 6-month conditional use expiration with this.
Okay, so the language needs to be modified to address that point clearly. So what the board is being asked as a condition is to pursuant to Title Section 24.42 to grant up to 2 years, to extend the period of the conditional use to 2 years.
Yes, and this is the same thing is going to be found in KZ 2012.
Tom, just stick to the case we're at hand.
Okay. Sorry.
Madam President or Mr. Poland, so the standard is 6 months, and in this case, we're going to offer a 200% difference to 2 years?
It's not, we've had other examples of that based on other exigent circumstances.
Okay.
A project that was near the Hammond High School's construction had an extended period because of that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right, is Mr. Fox aware of this, and does he feel that he needs any another year just in case? Does he feel comfortable with the 2022?
We are comfortable with this extension. And as was explained, a lot of this is due to COVID. But we are comfortable with this extension and look forward to having this completed on time or there before.
Mr. Poland, you are going to revise then your recommendation to reflect this at this time?
Well, I have verbally stated that, and
We'll put
the,
this in writing then.
the documents will be updated accordingly.
Okay.
So it, should you, when your motion to accept the staff report would be the staff report as amended?
All right.
Madam President, I'm sorry, one more question, Brian. The 2 years we're talking about is to complete the project or to start the project?
Well, the language of the ordinance says that they must start the work within 6 months and then continually carry on the operation, carry out the permit work. So all we're doing is giving them 2 years to start the work. We hope they would complete it, but we're being very, open on that.
So in
Thank
other words, they could get their permits in December of 2022. It's
They-
a possibility.
There's a possibility that we could do that, yeah.
Okay. Just so everybody's understanding. All right, any other questions, comments? Do we have a motion to accept the staff report as amended?
I'll make that motion to accept it for Z 20-10. Amend it for the 2 years.
That was Nancy. Do we have a second?
Second,
That looks like
Dennis.
Dennis, okay. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Hudson,
Yes?
Radowski,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes,
Hill.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Okay, then we have as far as proposed findings of fact prepared by the staff. Are there any other additions that the board would like to add? Mr. Poland, do you feel there's a need to add anything in regard to your staff proposal?
You mean the findings proposal?
No, the proposal, yes, the findings of fact.
No, I do not.
Okay, just checking that out. All right. Do we have a motion to adopt the findings of fact as presented?
I'll make that motion, Nancy.
Do we have a second?
Dennis will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Could we have a roll call vote?
Hudson,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes,
Hill.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Okay, do we have a motion in regard to the conditional use for Z-20-10? Mr. Radowski, do you have a motion?
I so move
That's what?
to agree to the approval of case number Z 20-10.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve Z-20-10. Roll call vote, please.
Hudson,
Yes?
Reagan,
Yes,
Radowski,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
All right. We will move into,
Chairperson Hill?
yes,
Staff has no objection if you read in Z 2011 and Z 2012 at the same time, but separate motions.
okay. We have Z-2011 petition of 18th Street Distillery LLC for a variance of use from Title 11 Light Industrial District, Section 10, period, Section 11, Period 10, permitted uses, number 7, distribution, number 10, food processing, title section 9.10, permitted use, C3, central business district located at 474, 478, and 496 Fayette Street in the city of Hammond. And then we also have Z-20-12, petition of 18th Street Distillery LLC for a conditional use regarding title section 18.71, restaurant open air or outdoor seating as an accessory use in a C3 Central Business District at 474, 478, and 476 Fayette Street in the city of Hammond. Have all notifications for both petitions been met?
Notification requirements have been met.
Okay, Mr. Fox, it's my understanding that you can discuss both of these at the same time, but there will be a separate vote, so you want to cover, and the questions can be in regard to both of them, Mr. Poland?
Yes.
Board, okay, all right.
Thank you. The first petition, which is the Z 2011, we're looking for additional fermentation space. And so what that means is the beer or wash is produced here on site at our 5417 Oakley Avenue location, and then transported for fermentation to our Fayette location for fermentation. Fermentation, basically, the process is where the wash or grains is introduced with yeast. Yeast produces alcohol, and that fermentation wash will be transported back down to our distillery and distilled in a fashion where we would distill it and package it and sell it off to our distributor. Currently right now in our current production space, we are limited to production capacity, which inhibit us to grow further into our distribution market. Right now, we're currently distributing in 5 different states, and with the expanded distribution and fermentation space, it would allow us to grow our business into, big box stores such as Target, Walmart, Costco, etc., which will allow us to continue to bring on additional employees and expand our business into the future. And that's Z20-11 I'm referring to. Z-20-12, which is the triangle parcel that we referred to earlier. With COVID, we've seen a major shift in a lot of distilleries, breweries, and restaurants pivot into having outdoor space. We don't anticipate that changing anytime soon until the consumer feels comfortable dining inside. So we want to use that parcel to, erect a beautiful outdoor patio space with limited seating capacity of around 50 people, with additional landscaping and fencing that would basically tie everything into our additional property as is. And I believe Brian had a question, or another board member had a question as to what our bar capacity seating would be inside. Inside bar capacity seating would be at 30 people based on the amount of square footage that we have at this present time.
Just to be clear, I actually was told that you guys could have even more seating than that if you wished. But I was told up to maybe 75 inside if you wanted to go that route. I know you probably don't, but
that is correct. I mean,
okay.
Honestly, we've learned over the last 9 months, Mr. Novak, is that we want to be responsible in making sure that we're doing our job to help and curb the spread of coronavirus. And again, we don't anticipate us going to 100% capacity anytime soon, following the state's recommendations and the CDC guidelines. That's where we're most comfortable at this present time.
And Mr. Fox, we all greatly understand and appreciate the whole COVID situation. But But in order for the outdoor seating numbers to work, we really need to address this as the legal capacity of the space based on code, which is the information that we had been provided. Otherwise, you're going to have an issue with the outdoor seating.
And that is, the outdoor seating, what's allowed, the number allowed outside is based on the number allowed inside. When the number allowed outside is usually would be a lower number than the number inside. But he's getting it. So.
Because we had addressed that with the bathrooms that are being proposed, that code would allow, what was that number, Tom?
So with the 2 bathrooms, they could have technically could have up to 90 people on the inside.
Right. And so then there was a question of how many seats are you having? So if you're having, say, 75 seats, but you're only at a 50% capacity or 25% capacity, that's fine, but you still have 60, 75 seats. You just can't fill them because of COVID.
Mr. Poland, the outdoor seating area is 200.
So I guess,
Square footage.
I guess, Mr. Poland, I'm guessing.
Oh. Go ahead, Drew. I'm sorry.
No, I guess I'm confused. I guess with your comments is that we are trying to make a conservative effort with our seating capacity. As code is allowing us 75 people, we're saying we're going to have less seating capacity on that. I mean, if seating capacity is 75, if that's what the board wishes, then that's what we will do.
Well, right. I think the issue is when the COVID says that you have a 50% limit on your seating and a 25% limit on your seating, that means that it's based on the number of seats or your occupancy. So you have to always have that high occupancy number in order to realize that you only can serve 25 people or whatever the percentage calculation is.
Absolutely.
So that's why we have to have that higher number, because it makes everything else play out.
So is our occupancy number 200 people?
Yeah, Mr. Hutton, explain that.
Yeah, Madam Chairperson and Mr. Poland and all, at 7 square feet per person, that would be 200 people on that outdoor patio by itself. If there are going to be tables and chairs, Mr. Fox, which we presume there will be, then that number will probably drop down to 100, and that's what we have to design around.
Well, but our zoning requirement is if we have 75 people allowed in the inside and you're only allowed to have 33% on the outside, then our numbers is 25.
I agree with that, yes.
And that's our zoning regulation, which is separate from code.
That very good point. And when you look at the 75 people on the inside, I'm not sure, I don't know how big that area is, so I can't help you, Brian or Madam Chairperson.
I don't think this is 75 people on the inside.
I'm sorry?
I don't think we refer to 75 people being on the inside. I think 75 people was outside.
Okay.
That's contrary to what we have in
Right.
your letter.
Okay.
So
Well, we're gonna, if the board's pleasure, we're gonna follow code. Again, I was just making, again, looking for the future and looking at adjustments that may be made. I would like to strike that from the record, and we'll just follow what the code suggests at this point.
Tom and Brian, you're absolutely right about the number of toilet fixtures that are in there, or lack of. You're absolutely right.
What was that, Mr. Hutton?
I'm sorry?
What was that comment?
That Tom and Brian were absolutely right about the number of plumbing fixtures.
Well, it
for
seems
the
like
occupancy area.
45 people in each of those bathrooms and an awful lot of people to put in a bathroom.
Good point.
I guess.
I think the design needs to be worked over.
Well, I think the number needs to be changed a little.
Well,
We're concerned about COVID.
can I ask the next question?
Yes.
Or Madam Chairperson,
Sure.
or maybe Mr. Fox can answer this, and that is, how do I access Unit 1 and Unit 2?
Unit 1, the entrance it's facing the west side. So that would be your entrance to number 1. And the proposed entrance for unit number 2 would be facing on the south side of that building.
I see the one on the south side pretty clearly. I just don't see one on the west side.
It's actually on the east side because the north arrow
Well,
is,
it's facing on the east side. Yes, correct.
Yes.
Sorry, it's on the east side.
Or the
Yeah.
east side, okay.
Right.
And then my last question for the time being is the fermentation process. And by the way, I think you have a great idea here. But my question now, the fermentation process, do you have any high pressure vessels that are going to be in this space to do the process as you're talking about? I'm not familiar with it.
Absolutely not. Let me backtrack. I've been a brewer for the last decade, and I've been in distilling. It's somewhat similar, with the exception of the processing. There will be no high pressure vessels in fermentation space. All of our fermentation does not, for distilling, does not require a high pressure vessel. It could require a stainless steel vessel, a wood vessel, or plastic vessel, but none of the pressure. There is no high pressure fermentation that is necessary for fermentation.
Thank you.
I'd like to mention no open
Pleasure.
flames or no open flames either, right, Drew?
That is correct.
Okay.
Board or the staff have any other questions or comments at this time?
no,
All right, we're able to take as far as public comments for both cases at the same time? So if
yes,
anybody in the public that would like to speak for or against Z 20-11 and Z 20-12?
Again,
I'd
hold
like
down
to say
space bar.
something.
Oh, go ahead. Good.
As a public person, I love 18th Street, and my husband does too. We are for whatever they want to do. They are a good company. In my experience, they really stepped up in the past, making hand sanitizer and doing everything that they could to help frontline workers when COVID started. So I hope that Hammond progressively works with them going forward.
Okay, could we have you state your name and your address, please?
Shantine Zichterman and 1725 Sheridan in Whiting.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't get that. The name.
Shantine Zichterman,
What, spell it, please?
Chantene, and then Zichterman.
Thank you.
Did you get her address?
Yes, 1725 Sheridan and Whiting.
Oh, stop.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
No, stop.
My name is Chris Delgado, and I'm at 7.
Okay, Mr. Delgado, you just left.
Breaking up, sir.
Sheridan.
Oh, that's my husband trying to speak and support Mr. Fox also. So he'll have the same address.
Okay, disregard. I'll stay. Yay. If that's all they can hear.
Okay. The same, all right?
And one more thing, Mr. Fox, we hope that you bring the poutine back.
It's back.
Well, would you like to spell your husband's last name, please?
It's Delgado.
Okay. Did you get that, Ms. Edwards?
Yes, thank you.
Right,
Thank
any other comment? Okay, hearing none, we will close this period of public comments. Mr. Fox, you want to make any comments in regard to the public comments? Except thank you.
Yes, I thank you to the public. Thank you to this board as well. We look forward to this project. We know, we've worked with the city of Hammond since 2015, and we're looking forward to introducing this new project to our neighborhood and to our community, and Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana as a whole. So I thank the board for allowing us to speak and showcasing our talent and doing what we do and doing what we do extremely well. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, any other questions from members of the board? Right, we have V-20-11, variance of use for fermatorium and in a commercial district. We have a staff report and at least one recommendation. Do we have a motion to accept the staff report into the record and have the staff read their recommendations?
Put the staff report into record
For a specific case, right?
For Z.
for Z20-11.
Do we have a second?
So moved on the second. Dennis.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Hudson. Hudson,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Ms. Edwards,
Yes,
I am not sure, I didn't notice it, but I do see Roger Brock showing up.
I did text him the ID number.
Okay, did you,
I didn't see him though. He's here.
I see him on my screen.
Okay.
I asked him to unmute.
I don't see him.
Okay, I mean, do you want to add him now into the
I
roll
am.
call?
I
Okay,
He did. Yeah, he's here. Mhm.
See one of the phone calls?
no, his picture is there.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah, I see.
Hi,
him.
Bill.
Oh, there you are. Okay. It's the purple man.
Yeah, the purple man, yeah.
You've been here for a while then.
Yes, I was under a different name.
Hey.
All right, would you like to vote on this one then, Mr. Brock?
Yes, I would. Yes.
You say yes to this motion?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right.
The motion is 5-0. Motion passes.
All right, can we have the recommendations from the staff?
Okay, yes. Staff has reviewed the petitioner's request in case Z 2011 and recommends that the BZA forward the petition for a variance of use to the city council with a favorable recommendation. Should the board feel the petitioner has met the prescribed standards. And this is subject to resolution of any and all HDEM, Hammond Department of Environmental Management concerns regarding odors. May I say, I spoke with Ron Novak and his concerns are LA, but because it's a new location, we wanted to put that in there just in case, anything arises in the future, but Director Ron Novak doesn't expect that.
All right. Now, we need another motion, right, in regard to the findings of, this one's taken care of as far as the staff report, correct? So now we're moving to the proposed findings of fact.
Correct.
All right. Staff has proposed findings of fact for Z 2011. Does the board have any recommendations or changes or anything they'd like to make? Or would they like to accept the findings of fact presented by the staff for Z 20-11? Do we have a motion to?
I make the motion that the finding of facts be approved on Z 20-11.
Do we have a second?
I'll second, Roger.
We have a motion, a second, roll call vote?
Hudson,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes,
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board in regard to the variance of use for D-20-11? Do we have a motion to approve the variance for Z-20-11?
Chairperson Hill,
Yes,
the motion needs to be to forward the variance of use to the council with a favorable recommendation should, if that's what the board is wanting to do.
okay, you are correct. That is a variance of use. It does go to the council. All right, we have a motion that was Mr. Poland stated. Anybody want to recommend that we move with that motion? Sending it to the council with a favorable recommendation?
I'll make that motion.
Who was the first one?
Roger, first one.
Roger,
Okay, and our second is,
Nancy,
okay, we have a motion and a second to send D-20-11 variance of use to the council with a favorable recommendation. Roll call vote?
Brock,
Yes,
Hudson,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Reagan,
yes.
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Right, then we have D-20-12, which is a conditional use for the restaurant open air and outdoor seating. We have as far as a staff report with a few recommendations. Do we have a motion to accept the staff report into the record and have a staff member read the recommendations for Z-20-12?
Make the motion, put the staff report and just read the, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well. Just read the staff report.
For
I mean,
Z-20-12 and have the staff read the recommendations?
yes, I'm sorry, yes, please.
That's all right. At least you're here, where we'll work with you. All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Roger.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Radowski,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes,
Reagan,
Yes,
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Okay. Staff recommendation, staff in case Z-20-12. Staff has reviewed the petitioner's proposal and recommends that the board grant the conditional use should the board feel that the petitioner has met the standards. Subject to the petitioner, 1, incorporating a fence type and height in any plans for the outdoor seating patio, which is compliant with the zoning regulations in Title 22 Fences and Landscaping. 2, properly addressing all landscaping and lighting concerns and requirements found in zoning ordinance 8514. And 3, hiring licensed contractors and those licensed contractors pulling relevant building permits to begin work no later than by the end of calendar year 2022.
Okay, and Madam Chairperson, again, to amend that language number 3 to say extend the conditional use period to the end of 2022.
Any board members have any questions?
I do. Mr. Poland, we haven't talked anything about parking. Is that part of this or is that already accomplished?
In the central business district, there is no requirement for off-street parking.
Thank you.
All right, do we have a motion to adopt the findings of fact as presented and amended for the conditional use for Z-20-12?
I make that motion for the staff conditional
Okay, do we have a
for
second?
the Z-20-12, sorry.
No problem. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Roger.
A roll call vote?
Hutton,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes,
Hill,
Yes.
5-0, the motion passes.
Okay, good luck, Mr. Fox. And thank you for being a wonderful member of
Excuse
our,
me, Madam Chairperson. We didn't
oh my
approve
goodness,
or deny.
we did not move to the of order deny, right?
Okay, correct.
Good. All right, do we have a motion? Do we have, okay. Okay, I've been here since 6. All right, do we have a motion to approve Z-20-12 for a conditional use for the outdoor patio seating?
I make that motion to approve it.
And we
I'll
have,
second, Roger.
okay. Roll call vote?
Hudson,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes,
Reagan,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
5-0, the motion passes.
By the way, that was 6 a.m. I've been here. All right. That's what I said, I'll accept pretty much everything. All right, Mr. Poland. We have Z 2013, 14A and 14B. Is it all right to read all of them at one time, or you want them divided up?
Ms. Hill, did you get an amended agenda?
I do happen to have 2 agendas, but I don't know which one's amended and which one isn't.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do is, I want to read case 2013 first, and then what the missing part on the agenda is there is for 14, there's A, B, and C. We can read A, B, and C together, but I would like to have 13 read first and handled separately.
Okay. All right. Yes, there was no space between the C, and it didn't have Z-20. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're doing Z-20-13 petition of, oh my gosh.
Mac Ritchie,
What?
Mac Ritchie.
McRitchie Storage Ventures LLC for conditional use regarding title section 10.11 parens 15 self-storage facilities pursuant to title 19 zoning and conditional provision to allow for a self-storage facility in a C4 general commercial district located at 950 165th Street in the city of Hammond. Has all notification requirements been met?
Notification requirements have been met.
Okay. And do we have anybody who is speaking in regard to the petition?
Yes, this is Scott Yaney. Good evening, everyone. I'm appearing here this evening on behalf of McRitchie, excuse me, myself, Storage Ventures LLC. And we're appearing with the consent of the owners of the property, Rick and Sue Holloway. This is 950 165th Street. I'll give just a little background so maybe we can kind of move the proceeding along a little bit here with some degree of comfort, and maybe you all can interject or slow me down or redirect me if you want me to hit on something a little bit further. We have been working with Mr. Poland on this project for quite some period of time. I think I definitely do not want to put words in Mr. Poland's mouth, but I would say there's been a lot of engineering, a lot of thought put into this project. I have had an opportunity to see the staff reports, and so I don't want to, especially in light of the late hour, belabor points that you don't need me to make. So I'm going to try to go quickly. If you want me to go faster, wave it on. If you need me to slow down, put up a stop sign. This is the property that is currently Holloway Myers Heating and Air Conditioning on 165th Street. The folks that want to operate this, it's McRitchie Storage Ventures. And I see that we have Will Matthews, who is the principal, and also Morgan Bolin. The folks in the city are very familiar with both Morgan and Will. They've made several trips, multiple trips down here from Calgary in Canada, where they're based. And they're very anxious to put this property to a new and use that I think you will see is going to give some real life and energy to that 165th corridor. Currently, that property is a heating and air conditioning supply and service business. You all may be familiar with it. It's the familiar van on a pole. It's kind of orient you on that property. We intend to use that existing building. And what these folks have in mind is interior climate controlled storage. And I don't know if you all remember, but I've been before you a couple of times. This is a new and evolving segment of the market that oftentimes involves retrofitting existing buildings that otherwise might not be put to use. You might remember I came to you with the old bowling alley, which has been now put to use as one of these types of facilities. And as Morgan and Will have established in the materials that I've given you, the need in Hammond is underserved in this area. And in fact, it's not just Hammond. Getting these projects or having Cherville, Munster, out here in Valparaiso where I am. So this is a segment that is growing in the marketplace due to demands for how people live in spaces and how they store now, which is much different. So this is climate controlled storage. This is not the traditional drive up bay and barbed wire fence type settings that we all kind of associated with these types of facilities in not so long ago. The building will undergo a significant transformation. I've given you the materials of the elevations of the building. The existing kind of barrel roofed building will be used, but it's going to be a brick facing put on, large windows that really enhance and modernize the appearance will be fitted into that building. There will also be a new modern building companion to the existing building that will also be created. And we think these buildings, particularly in light of kind of what is in the area right now, will give a sense of new energy to that corridor and really dress up what exists there now. These facilities have gone into some detail on the materials to describe anything from their hours, the site rules, all the sorts of things that are a part of these types of facilities to give you a sense of the idea of the safety and security that this project will bring. Their idea is to make sure that customers and clients of this business feel very comfortable and very safe coming into this space and that it's inviting. Otherwise, they lose their whole reason for being, because that's essentially people want this to be an adjunct to maybe a storage area in their house and be that comfortable that they're willing to go there during the designated hours. And so they will implement various safety implements regarding restricted access, lighting, surveillance, all the sorts of things to make people feel safe and welcomed in that facility. One of the things that the city will require in this type of instance, and we've done this in the past with Brian, is, excuse me, Mr. Poland, is a commitment that will be recorded that will specify that we can't do certain things with this property that would, in terms of the types of things that are stored there. And this will be a recorded commitment that will run with the land after the conclusion of this hearing, and will perfect that process. For the conditional use, because we have to have a conditional use authorization to do a self-storage facility. I'll just kind of briefly hit the criteria. First, that this will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The customers will be subject to well-defined safety regulations, prohibited from storing any types of materials that could be at all injurious. We've had the floor plan, all these the engineering drawings reviewed and considered by Mr. Margraf, by Mr. Bale, and we found to be in good stead with those folks. These folks will fully comply with all building and building code requirements, state code requirements. These property or the spaces will be sprinkled. From all, we've looked very carefully at access around the buildings and access to fire department equipment. And it's been very well considered in allowing for the access and the drive, the required drive aisle width and the other parameters. Two, we have to show you that we won't adversely affect the value and use of the surrounding property. To the contrary, especially if you look in, I think you'll get a sense of what's out there. If you look at page 14 of the supporting letter, it gives photos of kind of what's out there right now. And what you'll see is a broad expanse of blacktop. And you'll see some buildings that evoke an earlier period. You'll see a lot of chain link fencing along the 165th Street. And we propose to greatly enhance that look and feel. Mr. Poland was encouraged us to reconsider how that space is utilized in front of the building, and has come up with, in place of that asphalt expanse, a front lawn, if you will. There's going to be green space now adjacent to 165th Street, and our parking will be separated from 165th Street by that green space. So it'll kind of give us a sense of a front yard, greenery that really doesn't exist in that part of the city and along this commercial frontage. As I mentioned, we're going to have large windows, a well-designed brick and modern facade that we think will enhance and be a significant upgrade to the community and the ultimately the value of the surrounding properties. We have to show you that the approval won't have an adverse effect on the density of the adjacent area, and that this area will not be burdened by an excess number of similar uses. And I've spoken to you about this before. There are different ways of kind of looking at where you're going to locate businesses. We're aware that in that area of the city, there are storage facilities, right? We know of a number of them in that area. Now, many of them are the more traditional variety. But what I've asked Will and Morgan to do is to show you what they see about how this area, Hammond, and then this area specifically, is underserved by the use that they will provide. And if you look at pages 17 and 18 of our submission materials, you'll see the data that they use to arrive at this conclusion. And this is industry specific data that they do very careful background research before they look to an area and where there's a need that's not being met. And we think that, and as I kind of talked to you about before, we think that the fact that folks know that this is an area of the city where storage alternatives can be found makes good sense, so that people know where to go, generally speaking. And there is a high demand for this service that is not being met. All of these, as we checked and canvassed the surrounding facilities, and they are fully occupied. In fact, I know Morgan and Will rather have interest in and perhaps working with some of those folks already, and they do speak to the owners in the area. So we do not think that there will be any adverse effect whatsoever. We're not going to adversely impact the transportation network. No adverse impact on environment or natural resources. No adverse impact on historical or architectural, cultural resources. And this approval will not substantially interfere with the city zoning plan. And we're otherwise in compliance with provisions located elsewhere in the zoning ordinance. For those reasons, we're seeking approval of the conditional use permit.
Right. Andrea, we have him state his name and address? Or did I forget that?
I may not. It's Scott, and it's Yaney. It's YAHNE, 9301 Calumet Avenue, Munster, Indiana.
Thank you.
2F. Thank you.
All right, do board members have any questions at this time? Hearing none, we'll move into the period of public comments. Anyone in the public like to say anything at this time in regard to the petitioner? For the -13. Mr. Novak, I don't see any hands either, do you? Okay. So we'll close this period of public comments. Board members, do you have any other questions? Or any questions at this time? Right, we have a staff report for Z-20-13. Would the board like to accept the staff report into the record and have the staff read their recommendations at this time? Do we have such a motion?
Make the motion that we take the staff report into record and have them read the recommendation for Z-20-13.
Do you have a second?
I'll second, Roger.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Radowski. Radowski.
Did he leave?
Oh, he's there.
Oh, Radowski?
No, I'm
Unmute.
Hutton. I'm just saying he's there.
Okay,
Yes.
Hutton.
Here, yes.
Rock.
Yes.
Reagan.
Yes.
Hill.
yes.
5-0, motion passes.
All right, any questions at this time from board members? Okay, we will move into as far as the proposed findings of fact presented.
Should I read the recommendation?
No, he didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, you need to.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So staff has reviewed the petitioner's request and recommends that the BZA base their decision on consideration of petitioner meeting the applicable standards, subject to 1, Petitioner obtaining developmental variances to the building height for the existing building, the size of storage buildings above the 10,000 square foot maximum, and an increase in the allowed square footage of signage. Number two, the petitioner and the BZA execute a commitment document restricting the uses and prohibition of storage of certain items in accordance with Title Section 19.70.10 of zoning ordinance 8514. And three, the petitioner receives the right of encroachment for the Board of Public Works for the existing pavement in the right of way at the current building.
Madam Chairman,
Yes,
just a point of clarification regarding number three. As Mr. Yanni pointed out, is that the landscaping, what that is being provided is in front of the new building because they were able to meet the setback requirement and the space was available. But the existing building, is already close to the building, and so they would not be able to meet the landscaping as similar to the west building. And so they will have to continue to use the pavement that's in the public right of way, and that is the reason for the right of encroachment.
okay, any questions from board members? Right. We have the staff report into the record. Now we also have, as far as the proposed findings of fact from the staff, are there any additions, amendments, anything like that from the board? Hearing none. Would the board like to accept the findings of fact prepared by the staff and their recommendations and to approve them for Z-20-13 for a conditional use permit?
I make the motion that we accept it.
Do you have a second?
I'll second, Roger.
You have a motion and a second. Could we have a roll call vote?
Hudson,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes,
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Now we need a motion in regard to approval or denial of Z-20-13 for the conditional use permit. We have a motion to approve or a motion to deny.
make the motion to approve the Z-20-13.
Do we have a second?
I'll second, Roger.
We have a motion and a second to approve Z-20-13 for the conditional use. Roll call vote.
Radowski,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes,
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Okay. Now we are ready to move to Z-2014A, which is a petition for the storage venture. Say it, Robert.
McRitchie.
McCritchie. Storage Ventures LLC for developmental variance regarding title section 19.70.15 provides no building shall exceed a maximum of 15 feet and also provides no building shall exceed a single story to allow additional building height for a self-storage facility in a C4 general commercial district located at 950 165th Street in the city of Hammond. And C-20-14B is the petition for a developmental variance regarding Title Section 19.70.20, provides that the maximum size for a storage building is 10,000 square feet to allow two storage buildings, the existing one of which should total 36,671 square feet, and a new one which would total 30,888 square feet, and a C4 Central Business District located at 950 165th Street in the city of Hammond. Now, what I have as far as C3 Central Business District located at 950 165th Street in the city of Hammond, and this is in regard to the signage. All I have on my two agendas, so I think there's more to this. Would you like to read it for us? In regard to C4-2014B.
Hold on, we're getting feedback from somebody. I don't know if somebody has a TV on or something, or
I think it's Galaxy Note 9, just looking at the indicator light.
I will mute them. They went away, so problem solved.
All right, I do not have anything as far that I read what I had for C3, and it just says C3 Central Business District located at 950 Street in the city of Hammond. So I do not have anything in regard to the verbiage for Z2014C.
Chairperson Hill.
Olin, can you read it for us?
Okay, Z-20-14C, petition of McRitchie Storage Ventures LLC for developmental variance regarding Title Section 19.70.18 to allow wall signage up to 100 square feet on a self-storage facility in a C3 Central Business District located at 950 165th Street in the city of Hammond.
Thank you. All right, all notification requirements have been met?
Yes, notification requirements have been met.
Okay. Particular is the same?
Yes.
Okay, so we do not need to sign in. Do we need to sign in, Miss Edwards?
No.
Yes, okay. Anything else you would like to describe? What would you like to tell us about all three of these? Briefly.
Yes, briefly, being the operative word, right? So there are three requirements that we need to build this structure. The first item is the building height. Our existing ordinance it requires no more than 15 feet. The existing building is 27 feet 1 inches at that barrel peak. So for that building, we'd like to continue to use the building, and that would require a variance of 12 feet 1 inch. When we construct the new building, we're seeking a variance of 2 feet 1 inch to accommodate the needs of that new building that will be constructed. And as I'll kind of jump ahead just a little bit to the end, our storage structure is based on that earlier model of storage as opposed to a climate controlled storage. So that often finds us seeking these adjustments. So that's the first item. The second item is the maximum square footage. One kind of embedded item on the first request is that the existing building has 2 stories. We want to be able to use a first and a second story. The statute, or the ordinance rather, requires or allows for only 1 floor. Then jumping ahead to issue number 2, this is B, 14B. We are seeking to use the existing structure, which has total floor space of 36,000 square feet, 36,000 plus. And the new building will have a footprint of about 31,000 square feet. So we're seeking to build those structures. And again, this is more akin to a requirement for an indoor climate controlled storage as opposed to the smaller outbuildings that you might have which requires the adjustment. And then the final item is our signage. And if you maybe jump ahead to, if you have the letter in front of you, page 6, you'll see that we have relatively, what I'll say is a small sign panel. We're seeking no more than 100 square feet. Thank you very much, Thomas. No more than 100 square feet of signage. The storage ordinance, storage facility ordinance has talks about a marquee sign, very small signs on building designed to more direct toward location. This is in a C4 district. We're looking for signage that you might more customarily find in a C4 district. Although for this particular use, we don't require much, and we'll be actually using less signage than is currently on the existing buildings. Hitting our criteria, right? I've already kind of described to you our use and just ask you to remember some of that material so we don't have to listen again. We have to show that it's the approval is not going to be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and welfare. And the first item, the building height issue, doesn't pose any particular safety issues. The existing building is going to be retrofitted to comply with current building and fire codes. The new building is going to be constructed fully compliant with all building safety fire code issues. Both buildings will be fitted with a fire rated sprinkler system. I talked to you in the last setting about ensuring that the fire department equipment would have full access, and we looked at that very carefully at all sides of all of the two buildings. The building size won't pose a safety issue. Again, the drive aisles around the perimeter allow ready access to emergency vehicles. And finally, the signage. We propose tasteful, proportional signage, and also those safety consideration signage that will direct customers to the building for safe and efficient flow of traffic. Item number, or I guess criteria number 2, that the use of the adjacent area is not going to be adversely affected. I've talked to you in our prior setting about how we're going to, these folks are going to construct a very high quality and architecturally relevant new building, while adding great enhancements to the existing building. And again, harken back to our front lawn, that's going to add some new vibrancy to that 165th Street corridor. And it might be something that eventually we start to see down the block, or at least it suggests that this might be a possibility for other development in the future. Looking at our issues, the building height, this building has faced a bit of a challenge history. It's hard to find somebody that would go into this building and put this building to good use. We're going to use the existing building structure and then greatly enhance the appearance of what is there right now. We don't think the size or the signage will all adversely affect the surrounding area. In fact, this is going to be tastefully done, and it'll be a nice addition to the community. Strict application of the zoning ordinance poses a difficulty for us. I kind of referenced that throughout. The zoning ordinance that we have, like within most communities, was designed with storage, was a different industry altogether. And you simply can't put together or have a climate controlled storage facility that is going to fit within those parameters, because it's simply not designed to those standards. So we're seeking some relief. We're doing as minimally as possible. We've worked very closely with Mr. Poland to try to minimize the number of variances that we would have to seek. One of the items We worked really, really hard to get to a compliant zone or a landscape plan that could incorporate sufficient landscaping, and we were able to do that partially to the front lawn and some other. And I think the greenery is going to look nice along that corridor. When I mentioned the criteria, the building height, size, signage, that type of thing just isn't contemplated by the existing ordinance. And so we're seeking some relief from you. But like in the instance of the signage, we're kind of framing this in the as a C4 area, but we're not seeking anywhere near the signage allowance that we might otherwise have in a C4 area. I think we would be allowed up to 317 square feet, and we're seeking an allowance of 100 square feet. So with all that in mind, we're seeking approval of these developmental variances, hoping that you'll see fit to grant the same, and we'll be able to move forward with what I think will be a nice enhancement to that area of the city.
Do any board members have any questions? None, we'll move into a period of public expression. Anyone in the, or I guess the audience, like to say anything for or against the 20-14 A, B, or C?
Hold down your space bar to unmute.
Galaxy Note 9, did you have anything, comment you wanted to make? Novak, do you feel they wanted to say anything, or they just,
Galaxy Note 9, we noticed you unmuted. Did you unmute to speak on this matter? We don't know your name because it's not displayed, but.
all right, they basically, I have no idea. They muted themselves again.
I remuted them.
Oh, okay. All right. I do not see anyone else. All right, we will close this period of public comment. Board members, do you have any questions at this time? All right, we will move into the staff report, which is a report for Z 20-14 A, B, and C. And anybody want to make a motion to accept the staff report into the record and state that the board feels that the petitioner has met all the standards granted for the conditional use in Z 20-14 A, B, and C? Do we have such a motion? Yes, no, maybe?
I'll make a motion that we accept the staff report into record and just read the recommendations
Okay,
from the staff.
okay, and to read the recommendation.
Yeah, and the 2014 A, B, and C.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second, Roger.
Motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Radowski,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Rock,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Okay, Mr. Novak, would you like to read your recommendations?
Actually, it's Mr. Poland.
Oh, okay.
I do want to point out to the board that you do have a right to agree to all three of them or not agree, to one or the other, but the staff recommends that you agree to all three. So we recommend that, again, that the BZA grant the 3 developmental variances should the board feel that the petitioner has met the standards subject, which is now subject to the granting of the conditional use permit Z-20-13, which has already been met.
All right. Any questions from the board members? All right, we have the staff report into the record with their recommendations. And as Mr. Poland stated, we are, the proposed findings of fact are for Z 20-14 A, B, and C. Do board members may have any recommendations for amending the recommendations of our proposed findings of fact? Okay, do we have a motion to adopt the findings of fact as presented for Z-20-14 A, B, and C?
Make that motion that we accept it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second, Roger.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Hudson, Hudson,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Okay, do we have, what's the board's pleasure in regard to the developmental variances for Z-20-14 A, B, and C?
We approve it. Z 14 B, A, B, and C.
Do we have a second?
Second. Hutton.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Brock,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Okay, when do they plan to begin or finish construction?
So we need to now, we're under the, just under the gun here. Now we can complete our real estate closing, which is any day now. And I presume they'll be starting pretty soon thereafter. I don't know, I see Will or Morgan. I don't know if you guys, if you could weigh in, if you could unmute either one of you, you might want to give a more definitive timeline.
Apparently they don't. We will look in anticipation of when.
I do know that they're in a hurry. They plan-
Scenic Beauty of 165th Street. And, all right,
Oops, you know what? Will's unmuted now, I see.
okay, can you state your name and give us your address, please?
Sure. Morgan is actually trying to talk right now. So
What's her name?
M. Bullen,
I think it's,
M-B-U-L-L-E-N.
Okay, I've asked her to unmute. Hopefully she can.
hold on. Well, I'm getting an SMS from her. Bear with me. She's the brains of the operation.
I think
She's live. I see her now.
she's unmuted. Hello, Morgan.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay, you both need to state your name and your addresses and give us your comments, unless Mr. Matthews, you're not going to be saying anything, it's just going to be.
I will defer to Ms. Bullen. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Can you state your name and address, please?
Absolutely. My name is Morgan Bullen, and the address is 142 Holly Street, Unit 5 in Grays Lake, Illinois.
Okay, and we asked as far as when do you anticipate as far as starting the renovations, construction?
Yes. As Scott pointed out, we are now just going to be able to wrap up the real estate transaction here with the owners of the property. We do expect that that transaction will be complete anywhere between the next 30 to most likely 60 days. Once that is complete, we'll be able to move into the building permit process and submit our full drawings for building permits. expecting that that could be done in early Q1 of next year. As soon as building permits are pulled, we'll start construction immediately. That may put us on a timeline on an April or May start, and we would like to have the project completed by the end of 2021.
Okay, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Right.
you, everyone.
Thank you.
I just hope they don't get rid of that van.
Would you like to buy it? We'll move to Z 20-15 petition of Valerie Castillo for a conditional use regarding Title Section 3.11 conditional uses, Title Section 2.11 conditional use parens 14, and Title Section 7.10 permitted use parens 3 child care centers in a R1 urban single-family residential district located at 649 Mobile Street in the city of Hammond, and I appreciate your patience as far as waiting.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, do we have, as far as all requirements been met?
Notification requirements have been met.
Okay, is there one person just speaking for this petition?
Yes, I did bring along some support.
Okay, maybe they can be your public comments then.
Yes, that's what they're going to be for me.
All right, can you state your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Valerie Castillo. My address is 10542 South Green Bay Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60617.
Okay. Can you tell us about the childcare?
Yes. So I'm actually really excited to hopefully be able to get your approval. And I wanted to start off by saying thank you guys for having me. And I know we're towards the end. So what I'm going to ask for you guys to do for me is to please accept my submissions into record for addressing the standards.
Okay, Mr. Poland, would you like us to do that now or wait?
Well, I mean, I appreciate the offer because we're all ready to depart, but I think there's important things that needed to be pointed out in the record.
Okay.
So if I may just pose a couple of questions.
Yes, that's
Okay,
fine.
so Ms. Castillo, just for the record, clarify your relationship with the property owner. I mean, you are purchasing the property. Okay, please explain that. I'll let you do that.
That's fine. My mother, Christine Gregory, is actually the property owner. She's actually on here as well. However, the building will be gifted to me at some point. We're in process of that. But the building is under her name and she is on here, and we've also signed over rights. There is legal paperwork inside of the packet stating that she's given me legal rights to make choices on this matter.
Okay, all right. And then your proposal is to do child care center for the age group of 3 years to 5 years. Clarify the number of children you expect to have.
Yes. So with that, we are looking to operate a 2-classroom building that will have anywhere from 19 children per classroom to 20. So we're looking at housing anywhere from 38 to 40 children, preschool age only, ages 3 to 5. We're not doing infants and toddlers at this location. So that should cut down on trafficking coming through. And it's just a little difference on the licensing standards through state. We do currently own and operate another daycare in Hammond at 2617 New York Avenue. So we're just looking to expand because our current school houses 15 children, and we are turning away a rate of 4 to 5 children a month. So we know the need for childcare is there.
Okay, and then your hours of operation are from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. For the board's understanding, there was extensive conversations about the parking,
Yes.
the loading and unloading of of parents dropping off the children. There's no property available no parking
Correct.
on site available. The petitioner did seek a request from the park board regarding using a parking lot in Edison Park. They would not agree to enter into a lease agreement. I think there's a unstated acknowledgement that it's a public parking lot that someone may park there, but it is not something that they could have a legal agreement and a lease to allow her to use it. So we had a lot of conversations about what is available on site, or excuse me, on street.
Yes.
And that ties into the number of customers as well as her parking plan that spells out the 15-minute window for the parents to drop off their children. And then if you just want to elaborate on that a little bit, that
Yes.
would be great.
Oh, Tom, sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you.
What are you showing? Oh, okay, that's what you're showing. So anyway, as Tom is showing on the screen, this is just basically the schedule that we've been presented. That there's 4 spots in front on Mulberry, that in front of the building that they can line up cars, and that that allows the children to be dropped off. And Ms. Castillo, I think you said at one time that your staff will go out to the car and bring the children in, or could you clarify that point?
Yes. So what would end up happening is it'll be the same way that we do a current drop off and pick up at our school. Parents would be phoning in to let us know, drop off, and phoning in to let us know when they'd be picking up. And they would actually kind of have a set schedule time to pick up, because most families, their jobs don't change the hours of work. So they tend to have a set pickup time and a set drop off time. And based on the experience of my other school with the 15 children coming and going, we haven't run into any parking issues at that location. And we only have 2 spots available. So what I was doing was basing it off of having the 4 spots available and the double capacity, along with the possible 5th spot within the front of the building. I attached a photo of the building with mock cars placed in front to show how 5 cars will be able to fit in the front and the 4 staff cars on the back. Yes, there it is. And we've also discussed how the first 3, 4, there we go. And where staff members would park, and how the parking would look at drop off and pickup times, and how many hours would be spent in each parking lot. Travel would not be occurring for part of the day because kids would be in session. So that would typically be from about 9 a.m. until about 2 or 3 p.m. Kids wouldn't be being picked up. They would be in class.
Okay, so spots up. Tom, could you put that the sketch out again where it shows the cars on the street?
And I did yesterday speak with the Hammond Police Department, and they verified for me that those spots are considered public parking. They are not residential spots, so we wouldn't be taking up anyone's spots within the residential area.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point that I was trying to get at. And I didn't quite follow why the police department chose that wording, because our understanding is that the resident-only parking extends from the sidewalk that's in the image northward to the next block. And so, Tom, could you go? Yeah, stay there, please. And therefore, those 4 spaces would still be in the residential parking zone. But since they are in front of your property line, they would be, you can't be only for your use,
right?
Because it is public parking. But that's one of those unwritten rules that people try not to park, or people only park in front of their own house,
Yeah.
but that's not always true. So I was a little confused by your explanation regarding that, but if the police department are not going to put you in a position of being ticketed, then I think that's the important thing.
Yeah. What they had stated to me is that Madison Avenue, none of the spots are residential, that all of Madison Street is open for public parking.
Oh, okay.
Mulberry Street is residential parking, but it's not in front of the building. The residential parking starts after the alleyway. Yes.
Okay. All right. Now I understand better.
Yes.
Okay. All right. then that will make things work out much better then. Okay.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Phil?
I just want to thank you guys and for allowing me, and I want to thank my families for joining too. And I hope that it goes well.
That's why we have so many visitors today.
Yes.
Okay, board members have any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Okay.
We're talking 19 to 20 kids. How many staff in 2 classes? How many staff members to take care of those 19 to 20 kids in each class?
So staff members are 2 staff members per classroom. So it's a total of 4 teachers with a 5th that I would like to hire in as a floater.
So 1 person per 10 kids?
Yes, that is state regulation for ages 3 to 5.
All right. Okay. As far as,
Madam Chairperson, I have a question.
yes, Mr. Hutton.
So if there are 4 teachers, are there any other support staff?
Yeah, that would be the 5th person.
And those 5 employees would park where?
They on the side on the
Madison Avenue.
Madison Avenue Street, the 4, and then under car number 1, that would be reserved for a staff member. So
I
spots
see.
2, 3, 4, and 5 are where parents will be dropping off. They'd be pulling up into spots 2, 3, 4, and 5. However, spot 1 would only be used, give or take, around 10 a.m. I think I wrote it in my report. I apologize. I'm not sure exactly of the time of when spot 1 would be used by the staff. However, one of my staff members that's being hired in actually lives within walking distance of the school, but I know that's not going to be forever. So that staff member was once she's hired in, if we are able to open up, she said she lives within walking.
Perfect. Thank
So,
you.
Mr. Hutton, I believe there's 96 feet of linear distance on Madison. So 20 feet per vehicle, you could theoretically get 5 if they're tightly packed.
Right. You're absolutely right. And I was looking at those cars and I think those are VWs, but maybe they're minivans. I don't know.
Right. I think, between 4 and 5, I think that's probably reasonable on Madison Avenue.
Thank
And
you.
then I have one more question. You're talking a 5th. If someone gets sick, who covers for these classrooms?
That would be-
Especially with the virus and
Right.
people getting ill, how many backups do you have?
Well, I have
to
a second
cover these children?
location preschool currently. So we would just pull a staff member from there because we're overstaffed at that location. We are operating with 3 teachers there when we're only required to have 2. So if someone were to fall ill at the other school out of somebody, we would pull from there. And my plan is to also hire in a substitute filler just in case there's something. With COVID in mind, it is something to keep in mind. And we have been very blessed that we never closed. And I get emotional about it, so give me 1 second. It's been a
Oh, yeah, I know. It's been. And then are these staff members CPR trained?
Oh, yeah. We have to be.
Okay.
State license mandates.
Hey, in regard, anybody else have questions? Because I have a couple questions.
Well, yeah, if I may interject at this point, I do want to point out that there was a fenced-in outdoor space
Yes.
that it pre-exists, and this is across the street from a public park that that she may be able to take advantage of.
I think this is a great location. This is a great location for this.
Well, I remember as a library, all right?
Scollier Library, built in 1931. This is our 3rd library branch.
I don't know. I'm not that old, so I wouldn't know.
The main foyer turned into bathrooms, though. That's really
Well,
saddening.
The gentleman that owned it prior to me already turned it into some bathrooms.
Oh.
But lost its originality from there.
Oh, gosh. I can remember going to there.
But we are going to maintain the classrooms with their original bookshelves and their original walling. We're trying our best to preserve it. That was one of the reasons we opted for that building and not the one that actually just opened up down the corner from us. We were actually looking at purchasing that building. But we had opted for this building because of the feel. We bought it back in January and I walked in and I fell in love.
Okay, here is a beautiful building. Basically, my questions are, would you be having need of a staff member, additional staff member as far as food service? Or will service be provided?
That's the fifth floater.
Okay,
They'd be
that
in
would
charge
be-
of doing that as well.
Okay, so you're looking as far as for somebody to do that. As far as in your drawing or your information you gave, you do have a place for as far as to quarantine or a sick area or anything like that for a child.
Yes, we do. We
Right.
have a back office in the back.
All right, and in regard to your parking as far as on the street, which I can understand that's acceptable and that, but don't forget to consider snow and move around cars and everything like that for that too.
Madam Chairperson, if I could also address fire concerns, just so you know. State Fire Marshal Zach Lute and our Chief Fire Inspector Philip Scheringa in the city have already reviewed the architectural plans we got from CSK Architects. Just so you guys know, and they do have two forms of egress. So they have submitted architectural plans and they've already been reviewed by building commissioner and by our Chief Fire Inspector, which I think is important.
We've also gone ahead and done a lead and asbestos report. We're already in plans of getting everything fixed. We're doing an environmental study as an extra step just to make sure that that's going to be another 2-3 weeks because they're just backed up. But we are doing that piece as well to make sure everything is safe for the children, same as we did for the other school.
Yes, that's a phase 1 environmental study. Yes.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
All right, any other questions from the board members? All right, we will open up for public expression. If you're going to speak.
And my name is Chris Delgado, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump in real quick. This is Philomena, who's 2 years old, and this is Jacob, who is 6 years old. Jacob has ADD, autism, and we have struggled working with the school he was currently at in developing an IEP and getting him treated. Since we met Valerie, she has went above and beyond what her normal duties as a daycare provider in offering us assistance and helping Jacob get the help he needs and getting the IEP plan that has been instrumental in his learning abilities. It's very hard for him. But without Valerie, we would have been back where we were with him struggling through classes and not getting the help he needs. She also watches Philomena, and she is very smart, very intelligent, and that is a 100% direct reflection on Valeria Castillo's leadership. I am a very cautious person on who I want my children to be watched by, and we went through at least 3 or 4 providers interviews, and Valerie, I am very happy that she is part of our family, and I really hope that you guys grant her the support to open up her facility. It is gonna, of the many businesses that want to open in Hammond, the being able to provide this type of service is I don't have the words to say how great it's going to make the city of Hammond. That's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Delgado, could you please state your address?
1725 Sheridan Avenue, Whiting, Indiana.
Okay. Andrea, did you get his spelling of his name and everything also?
Yes, he spelled it earlier.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to jump in. That's my husband and my children. I'm getting feedback, sorry. Yeah, Little Fireflies Academy is not just your typical daycare in the neighborhood that you find. I mean, we did interview several daycares, and this was absolutely the best. You know, It's high quality. This is something that you would find Chicago, Lincoln Park, or uptown New York or something. Her business is phenomenal, and it will do Hammond such a good to improve the town, from the children and up. They're amazing. So I support them 100%.
Thank you for your comments.
Oh.
Anyone else?
Hi, yeah, this is, oh, go ahead.
Hi, this is Nedra Medina, and my address is 2633 Queens Lane, Dyer, Indiana. So I come from Dyer all the way to Hammond to her school. This is actually my daughter, Milagros Navarro, and this is her first student. When she opened up, and I would not take her anywhere else. She's now 5, and she will be entering kindergarten, but I will also be taking her there in the summer. So, I mean, this school is high quality. Miss Valerie's, she makes you feel part of, her family. Milagros is very advanced for her age, and I owe it all to Miss Valerie. She works very hard, and this school is going to do so great in Hammond, and I really, I'm excited for her. So I have no words. So we're very excited.
I'm sorry, may I get you to repeat your name?
Yes, Nedra, Nedra. Last name Medina.
Thank you.
If I could say something.
Anyone else?
Say hi. I'm Megan Murillo.
I didn't get that.
Megan Murillo.
Okay.
Hi. My address is 7986 White Oak Lane in Hammond, Indiana. Nayeli, my daughter here, is one of Valerie's newer students. I looked for we came from Chicago, and I looked for quite a few daycares. I am so blessed to have found Valerie's daycare. She's really done a lot for my daughter. My daughter also has ADHD, and Valerie just is so patient and kind, and she really takes her job seriously, and she treats the kids like family, like they're her own kids, and I really think that opening another daycare here in Hammond is going to be really great.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'll go next. My name is Isdeni Tamayo. It's probably easier if you just look at my tag there. I'm at 1000 West 39th Ave in Hobart, Indiana. And I just want to say, you guys don't know Valerie, but she really is the most humble person. She will not tell you about how excellent she really is. She's an excellent educator. Like, her experience is just above and beyond a typical daycare provider. And she is just a wonderful caregiver. And you're going to hear it again and again. Here's one of mine. Say hi, Joe. Hi. And she really does make sure that the children that she's caring for are very well taken care of. If it's not by her, it is by everyone else that she hires. She only hires employees that reflect her values. Another thing with Val is that she's working in Hammond right now. And she's also working with the Hammond Public Schools with Barb Gustin with the Head Start program. Like, her life is entirely dedicated in every aspect to ensuring that children have access to high quality care. And I come from Hobart to go visit her daycare. My kids go to her daycare because she really is that good.
And the children and the families that are in that neighborhood will be able to have even closer access to, to her care, to her high quality care. The really nice part, I think, is that, the Hammond economy is also going to benefit, considering that those families will have better access to consistent and safe care for their children. So those parents are going to be able to go to work confidently, even through COVID. They'll be able to go to work confidently, knowing that their children are safe, their children are loved. If their children have special needs, they will be able to be taken care of, because Val and whoever I know that she hires are going to treat those children and those families with all the love and respect that they deserve.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, yes, this is Claire Hagerup, 2001 South Calumet Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60616. I'll just quickly reiterate what all the other families have said. My 8-month-old son goes to Little Fireflies Academy. Valerie is an incredible caregiver and businesswoman, and we fully support her new center. So that's all I'll say. Thank you.
Claire, can I get you to spell your last name, please?
Yeah, absolutely. It is Hagerup.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
We just wanted to jump on really quick and just say that,
You want to state your name and
oh
address?
yeah, my name is Sabrina Esparza, Esparza. And our address is 2446 Indianapolis Boulevard in Whiting, Indiana.
Thank you.
This is my daughter, Kinley. She's been with Valerie a little over 2 years now. That was the first daycare that she went to when I returned to work when she was 1. And right now I recommend Valerie to every single person I know who's looking for daycare. Unfortunately, her daycare right now is completely full. She's been, I know she has a waiting list. I have friends who have kids on the waiting list. So I know with her opening a new facility, she's going to have a lot more spots for a lot more people to receive the care that she gets. Kinley absolutely there. She every day she stuff. Yeah, I would love to see it be able to access that care as well.
Thank
Say bye. Bye.
Hi. Anyone else?
This is Valerie's mother. My
Okay.
name's Christine Gregory. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee at 5208 Jacksboro Pike. And I have seen Valerie try to acquire her dream. And I have worked very hard to make sure that I had the financial ability to make that dream come true. She has 100% of my support. I know she loves what she's doing and working with these children. And I know how hard she has worked to try to get to this point with getting this school open. And I want to see her succeed with this, please. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful night. My name is Christian Medina. This is Layla Medina.
This is Abigail Ramirez.
And we're very excited to be here today to support one of the most hardworking women I have ever met in my life. I've known Valerie for quite some time now. She not only is an exceptional business owner, a leader to our kids, as well as, just a really, really, really wonderful person to her family, to everyone that she encounters, to the people that she works for. Valerie goes above and beyond for everything she can and will do. She'll find a way to get it done. And that's one of the things I admire about her the most. You know, as my family, we have, you know, we have our own entrepreneurial endeavors that we go through as a family business. We watch Valerie, you know, work as hard as she does to get what she does done with such elegancy, with such effort, such, you know, such passion more than anything. And Valerie really does, she really does walk the walk as well as talk the talk in everything she does. So, you know, if anyone is to deserve a business like what she's acquiring for, Valerie is that person wholeheartedly. You know, I'm really excited for her and what she plans to do with her school. And I'll pass it on over here to my wife.
My name is Abigail Ramirez. I just want to add that I have been working with Valerie for a couple of years now. I was working in a preschool center in a completely different company, and while I would be away at a different preschool center, Valerie was the one who would take care of my daughter. And I mean, I could go on about how much she has benefited our family and me as a teacher. And I will be going with her to the new school, and she has supported me and she has taught me a lot throughout the years. I have left my previous preschool center to be with Valerie full time because I saw her vision for the kids and I support it. And I mean, I swear by it because I see the results in my own daughter, and I really hope that she gets all the support she needs from everyone. And that's all I really have to say, because I might get emotional as well. She is great. She has exceeded all of our expectations, and she's amazing at what she does, and she does it with passion. And I mean, I watch her every day, the way she does everything with love, and I just really hope that this can all work out as smoothly as possible. Thank you, everyone.
Ms. Ramirez, may I get your address, please?
Yes, it is 1626 Shirley Drive in Calumet City,
Thank you.
60409 in Illinois.
09. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else? All right. I think we can close this period of public expression, and hopefully the parents can get their children to sleep. Because it's getting late, okay? The board, Ms. Costello, did you want to make any comments with the public comments?
I believe that was everybody, and I just want to thank everybody again for hearing us, and families, I want to thank you guys for participating. Thank you guys. And hopefully we have our approval. And I do want to state that we're ready to start construction as soon as you guys give approval. We have everything set up to start.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the board besides me? All right. I got the gist as far as with the comments that were made. That are you also planning on a summer program that will include children over the age of 5?
No, not at this location. That's only at my other location. Okay. We're licensed to do school age at the other location.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions? All right, we will move to the staff report. And do we have a motion to accept the staff report into the record for Z-20-15 for a conditional use for a child care center, and just have the staff read their recommendations?
Make that motion.
And do we have a second?
I'll second, Roger.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Hudson,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
All right. So in the case of Z 20-15, staff recommendation is as follows. Staff has reviewed the petitioner's proposal and recommends that the board grant the conditional use should the board feel that the petitioner has met the standards subject to, 1, the attached parking management plan, which includes a drop-off pickup schedule, will address the one space per 10 pupils provisions on Mulberry Street, and the employee parking provisions on Madison Avenue. And she shall see to it employee parking will be in compliance with the resident-only parking provisions governed by the Hammond Police Department, which we discussed at length earlier. 2, review and approval by Hammond Department of Environmental Management of a Phase 1 environmental study, which we also discussed earlier. And 3, compliance with applicable state regulations for child and daycare centers. Thank you.
All right. Board members have any questions in regard to the staff report? We have, as far as for prepared by the staff, proposed findings of fact. Do we have any additions or amendments from the board members? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve, adopt the findings? Did somebody want to say anything or no? Okay. Do we have a motion to adopt the findings of fact as presented for Z 2015?
I make that motion that we adopt it for Z 20-15.
Do we have a second?
A second, Hutton.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Could we have a roll call vote?
Radowski,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Okay, do we have a motion in regard to the conditional use for Z 2015? Do we have a?
Make a
Okay, go
make
ahead.
a motion. Make a motion that we accept for the provisional of Z 20-15.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
Approve.
Approve, and do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Brock,
Yes.
Radowski,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
5-0, motion passes.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Okay, any comments from the commissioners? Just wishing everybody a happy holiday as far as for me.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Staff comments?
Have a happy new year, happy holiday. Looking forward to 2021.
Yes, definitely.
Safe and better one.
Madam Chairperson,
Yes.
did everybody get the 2021 calendar in their packets?
I didn't.
I
I
didn't.
did.
Yeah, okay.
I
So, as we all have been experiencing this year, that we will, for the foreseeable future, we will continue with the Zoom meetings.
Oh, how wonderful.
And that we will get you a calendar, sent out to you, so you have the final dates for 2021. We still will stay on the last Tuesday of the month. We do recognize that tonight, for example, that in next December, when we have the first Tuesday of the month, that may be in conflict with the redevelopment commission meeting. So we just keep that in mind, that we may need to consider adjusting that meeting date. But that will be, once we get to that situation. So the next meeting is January 26th, 2021, and we are expecting a couple of cases.
On 126. Okay. Make sure I don't schedule another meeting. Okay. Do we have any other public comments? Hearing none, can I just adjourn the meeting at 8?
So moved.
Second.
Have a good holiday and thank you. We had
Yeah, have a nice holiday. Stay
Good
safe.
evening.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for your patience.
Everybody go home.
We have to.